like this yesterday that was an equation. And I told you it's just just fractions. We can use our calculator if we need to. What we can do here is separate it. X over 7. That's the same as 1/7 x. X over 3. That's like 1/3 x. Minus 4 over 3. Plus 1. So we're just solving this. Add like terms. So negative 4/3 plus 1. You have a calculator. That's negative 1/3. We need x's on the one side. And the numbers on the other. So 1/7 minus 1/3. You guys can use your calculator if you need to. You get
21 over 40. Oh.
Negative 1/3 plus 3 is 8/3.
I changed it later.
So then what do we need to do?
Multiply it by 21.
Okay, if you multiply by a negative, what happens on an inequality?
That's what it was.
Flips. So that's negative 14. Okay, on these, you don't, what you do, stop talking and crinkling your Pop-Tart wrapper and
It's his Pop-Tart. My mouth is closed.
you were the Pop-Tart, you were talking.
What are you even talking, bro?
You talk so much you don't even know if you're talking or not.
Yeah, sometimes you
So-
talk to himself, not even lying.
Less than would go this way, so it's negative infinity to negative 14. No equal to, so that's a parenthesis. Alright. 27 on the absolute value inequality, do we need to go over that? Remember, you have to look at less than or greater than. That tells you if it's an and or an or statement. And then work from there. So that one was an or, so you had to do 2 separate pieces. So the next question you guys asked me about was 32. So graphing a piecewise. What we typically did is made a T-chart for each piece. So this would be worth several points on your test because you have each individual piece to look at. Okay, so the first one we're doing if x is less than or equal to 2. So when you make your T-chart, this number here you have to plug in, and then we need things less than that. So if we put in a 2, 2 plus 1 is 3. So put in a 1, 1 plus 1 is 2. 0 plus 1 is 1. So 2, 3, how do you know if it's an open or closed circle?
If it's on the
Greater
inequality.
than 2.
Equal to.
Close.
Right, that's what I meant. I meant greater than.
Question. 1, 2, 0, 1.
Why does it say Happy Hanukkah on the whiteboard? And I have the Star of David.
Corbin.
Corbin Sheik.
Corbin is not.
Okay,
He says he has Jew hair.
so with the second piece, what would I have to plug in? We have to, at the very least, do 2 and 4 because those are the endpoints, and you could do something in between. We're giving out 3 every time. The 2 did not have an equal to, so that would be an open circle. When I go to 2, 3, it's already closed. Don't try to do this. I have some people that try to do like an open circle around it. If you get an open and a close at the same point, it's just closed. And then we have 3, 3, 4, 3. So it's just this little horizontal segment. And then the last piece, we have to plug in 4. And then we do things larger than that. So if we put in a 4, we get negative 8 plus 7, which is negative 1. If we put in a 5, we get negative 10 plus 7, which is negative 3. 6 gives us negative 5. Because the 4 didn't have an equal to, this would be an open circle. So 4, -1 is open. 5, -3. 6, -5. So it looks something like that. So you can expect to have a piecewise on your test, and it would be worth several points. All right. Number 33. So I gave you 2 different functions here.
God bless.
So A is f times g. So here's f times g, 1 over x. And you could write your answer a couple ways. Some people just said, I'm going to distribute that. So you get x squared over x minus 3x over x minus 4 over x, which simplifies to x minus 3 minus 4 over x. Some people just made one big fraction, and they wrote it as x squared minus 3x minus 4 all over x, and either of those would be okay. I don't care which one you do. B is asking for g composed with f. So that's the same thing as saying g of f of x. So we have to start with f. And then you're plugging that into g. So g is 1 over whatever you plug in, and we're plugging in the x squared minus 3x minus 4. So that would be our final answer.
Could we factor the bottom?
You could. It's not required, but certainly okay.
Wait. You got it right.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, you could have
Oh,
either
yeah.
of these.
Oh, I didn't
Doesn't
see that.
matter which one. All right, 34. We're finding domain. I know we only asked about A, but I might go ahead and talk about all 3 just as a recap. If you have a fraction, what do we know?
The bottom can't be 0.
So the denominator cannot be 0, which means x cannot be 3. But you know me, I want everything in interval notation. What this means is you could have anything except 3. So anything smaller, anything bigger. So what I would want you to write is negative infinity to 3 union 3 to infinity. When we're dealing with domain, we really only have 2 things to worry about, fractions and square roots. So if I look at the next one, does it have a fraction?
No.
Does it have a square root?
No.
So that means it can be anything, it's just polynomial. So my domain is just negative infinity to positive infinity. C, we have a square root. If we don't want imaginaries, what has to be under the square root?
Positive.
So x minus 7 has to be greater than or equal to 0, which means x is greater than or equal to 7. Okay, you don't have to have a graph, but if you need it to write your interval, it's saying everything bigger than 7. So that is bracket 7 to infinity. Any others on here? So I'm going to put some other problems up here. just as refresher.
Is this what we're doing for the whole class?
Just reviewing, yeah. So if you guys have anything specific you want me to go over, I'll do that. Otherwise, I'm just,
So I think I'm pretty solid on the whole final, honestly. Like,
might as well have just taken it today.
I've seen whole.
I should sit down and get it over with.
I can actually probably do it in this time frame.
3 gauge rounding calculator.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, Grant.
I feel like if we
Oh,
do
good.
it now, it would be
Alright.
rushed.
Dang it.
Yeah, it would not.
You opt out on that, so.
So the first one, we are looking at a cube root. So we need perfect cubes that go into 128. So you could break it into a 2 and a 64. Cube root of 64 is 4, so a 4 comes out and 2 stays underneath. If you have 5 x's, how many groups of 3 can you make? And how many are left over? If you have 12 y's, how many groups of 3?
4.
Any left over?
No.
If you have 7 z's, how many groups of 3?
2.
One left over.
And 1 left over.
Very good. Right back, wait.
Alright, number 2, factoring this. What do you have to do if there's 4 terms? Grouping. But you have to be careful. You don't just want to come in and put parentheses here and here. What's wrong with that?
You want to put the negative inside of it.
Yes, you can't add a parenthesis following a negative. So first we have to make it a negative 12.
I never even do that.
Alright, so then the first parenthesis, what can we pull out?
X squared
And we're left with?
3x
Second parenthesis, what can we take out?
negative 12.
And we're left with?
3x plus 2.
So now, 2 terms, they both have the 3x plus 2. We take that out. And we're left with x squared minus 4. Am I done?
No, we can do difference of squared.
So x squared minus 4 breaks into x plus 2, x minus 2.
y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1.
Yeah. Slope, not something that I would tell you. You should know that. Change in y over change in x. So if we set that up, 5 minus 2 over 4 minus negative 3. So we get 3 over 7. What next?
Take one of the points and plug it in, and y gets an x plus b.
Alright, I'll use the first one. So y is 2, m 3/7, x is negative 3, plus b. Add that over, and we get 23 over 7. So y equals 3/7 x plus 23 over 7. Is that okay?
Let's do that. That's fine.
All right, let's do
A couple more.
Couple more is like.
Cool. We have 20 minutes left.
Of
Because we're gonna have free
Nine.
time, right?
Line through
Like I said before, my still sleep.
2 negative
Next
6
time.
and parallel
To
2x plus
me.
y equals 8.
Wouldn't that just be the same?
He's helping cut it out. Oh. You can't carry me if I wasn't there.
Wait, is that equal or higher?
I'm
Ooh!
for the next
Equal.
one. I was not for that. I did use
Yeah.
One at a time.
because idea wasn't there.
I did them.
All right,
No.
there's your next two
I was-
problems.
Put it in.
Yeah.
It's always easier. It's like a nut.
I don't think that's right though.
Okay. So what does it mean if I say parallel?
Same slope.
Same slope. So we have to find the slope of this line.
There's a
So put it in y equals mx plus b form. So the slope is -2. So whoops,
See what I'm doing?
that's all we need that line for. So now I'm going to write the equation, plug into y equals mx plus b. So the y value of my point is -6. My slope is -2. My x is 2 plus b. So my y-intercept is -2. And the equation is -2x plus 2. All right. Number 5, I asked for the same line, but perpendicular. So I knew the slope of this line was -2. So what's the slope of the line perpendicular?
I have. Absolutely.
All right, so y equals m times x plus b. So perpendicular, you flip it and change the sign.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's -1.
What's -1?
She's not
The-
done
The
yet.
final answer.
The final answer.
Oh.
Okay.
So the equation y equals 1
Because you
half
subtract
x
the
minus
2 over, so it's -2.
Hey.
First one would be
Alright,
we done now?
minus 2.
Are we done?
Yeah.
-2.
I wrote -2, but then I put a positive here,
Put
didn't
hands
I?
up 7 up. Yes, please hit the 7.
Sorry.
That's
To be fair, I am a little bit on the struggle bus today because I have my kid's sickness and I'm just a little fuzzy today.
Oh, that means you
know
get
that
a break.
feeling?
That means you
Don't
get
you
a break.
worry.
Just be forgiving if I
That
say
means-
one thing and write something different.
That means you need a heads up 7-up break.
Yeah. Let's do that right now.
Just one round.
Let me go through a couple more things here.
Okay.
So some of the short answer questions,
I was looking at shoes.
some of these are worth 5, 6, 7 points each. So you really want to make sure you know what you're doing and you're not just skipping or writing something down.
That's what I did all last test. I just write something down.
I did horrible on this last
I
one.
guess you're right.
So this question would probably be worth at least 5 points because there's 4 different things to factor here and then you have to simplify for your final answer.
What would that mean?
When I ask you to divide fractions, what do we do?
Flip. Oh, yeah.
Flip the
Flip
second
and
one.
multiply. So I'm going to flip this second one. And then we also have to break down each of these because we want to simplify it as much as possible. So we have 4 different fractions to factor. X squared plus 7x minus 18. What would I break that into?
9 and 2. -2.
X plus 9, x minus 2. X squared plus x minus 6 would be x
Plus 3x minus 2.
The second one, since I'm flipping, the top would be my x squared minus 1. How does that factor?
X plus 1, X minus 1.
Okay, and then the bottom, what would x squared plus 8x minus
Plus 9
9?
minus 1.
Everything should cancel out except for the +3 and +1.
Okay, if something's on top and bottom, we can drop it. And so all I'm left with is an x plus 1 on top and an x plus 3 on the bottom. Can I cancel those x's?
No.
No, more than one term.
No,
They
you
don't
can't.
cancel.
Your body wash smells so good. Love it. Smell my hands.
Okay, time for hazard 7 up. Right.
It's like, I'm breathing, it's like something magnesium. Yeah, it's charcoal. It's charcoal body wash.
But I think that's the definition of my dish.
Yeah.
That's
not hazard seven.
That's great.
That's a different type of headset that I have seen.
Okay, so this would be another question that's worth at least 5 points.
And I'm listening to Shakira.
Don't care.
Hey, I'm listening to Shakira.
What would I do?
Oh, you got it.
Common denominator.
Yeah, if you want to add or subtract fractions, they need a common denominator. So the first one has x minus 3. It needs
X plus 5.
the second one has x plus 5. It needs
X minus
3.
So if we distribute, we get x squared plus 5x over our denominator. This one, if we distribute, we get 4x squared minus 12x over the denominator. What now?
Because you just like,
Track lifetime.
Yeah, I'm going to just go ahead and distribute this negative.
I didn't distribute any of it. I just left it
I
on.
just
Oh,
subtract
really
them.
big, yeah.
And then we have a common denominator, so we can put them together. So x squared minus 4x squared.
So do you have to distribute or can you just subtract?
We just distribute. When I said distribute, we distributed these numbers up here first, and now we're subtracting.
Or can
So
you-
5x plus 12x is 17x.
I'll say that works. Do we have to distribute the negative, or can we just subtract?
As long as you make sure you're subtracting each piece, that's okay.
Wrap it up.
All right. Another thing that we've struggled with that will be worth a lot of points, word problems.
Can't even hold you.
Let's try a couple word
I
problems.
hate word problems.
There wasn't any word problems on the study
Yes,
guide.
there was.
No, there wasn't.
Yeah, there
It
was.
was like 3 pages.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. This is a real small. Small boxes. Real small boxes Friday.
Shut up.
Oh, I forgot.
Choking.
Forgot.
Shoot!
Here, we'll fix it. Don't help.
You forgot. Wait, what did you forget?
What did you forget?
It's freezing.
I put it in the wrong spot.
Oh yeah, you did.
It's choking.
Eat choke hard.
Not me, though.
Somehow you make Kid Harrison hold.
Yeah, I did.
All right, so we have the $21,500. That is like your total principal. We don't know how much we're putting in the first investment, so that's your X. 2% would be 0.02. Then for the second one, you would have the 21,500 minus X, a rate of 0.06. And in 1 year, so the time is 1, she earns 870. So 870 is your total interest. So then you multiply and add the first two to equal the 870. And then once you get the first, you can add the first and second to equal your total.
I don't feel like writing the sentence.
You guys do. Part of the problem.
That is true. He would miss points for not writing a sentence, but
I know, but I hate writing on that board.
Alright, so say six, seven, out.
She invested 10,500 at 2% and invested 11,000 at 6%.
you guys agree with that?
Yes.
Are there any other questions for me or anything else you are struggling with?
I'm good.
You didn't label it as translated.
Yeah. Couple issues.
Fail.
With the amount of work shown.